Бисмилля, вассаляту вассаляму расулилля. Салам алейкум, баракату, дорогие братья и сестры. Мы приветствуем вас сегодня, в этот субботний день, неделю после трагических событий, которые разворачиваются на Ближнем Востоке, на Святой Земле, на земле, которая является святой для мусульман, христиан, иудеев. Конечно же, эти события не могли оставить без внимания и нас, Европейский мусульманский форум, вообще мусульман Европы. Поэтому мы приняли решение. Сегодня в таком экстренном составе собрали наше расширенное заседание правления. И фактически сегодня это такой общеевропейский онлайн-митинг в поддержку нашего братского палестинского народа. Я попросил бы шейха Ромаса, председателя исполкома, помочь мне в переводе.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear brothers and sisters, I want to greet you all, and I want to convey my message that today we gathered all together for the extraordinary meeting, extended meeting from all over Europe. You know that 1 week ago the tragic events started in Holy Land, in Palestine, and now we have to react somehow to these events, and we gathered every one of you today to address this matter.
Мы сегодня пригласили многих лидеров из разных европейских стран. Планируется, что сегодня лидеры из 36 стран Европы, мусульманские лидеры, присоединятся к нам во время нашего вот этого онлайн-митинга. И мы хотели начать с выступления Кади Аль-Куда, верховного судьи Палестины, но он задерживается сейчас на срочном экстренном совещании у президента Махмуда Аббаса, он присоединится нам позже. Поэтому мы сейчас начинаем с аятов священного Корана, которые зачитает у нас директор, президент Исламского центра Лиссабона, шейх Давид Мунир.
So today we gathered leaders, Islamic leaders from all over Europe for leaders from 36 European countries will join us today, and we had an intention to start with the speech of Qadi al-Qudat of the Palestine, but he will join us a little bit later because he's in extraordinary meeting with President of Palestine right now, so he will be joining a little bit later. And now we want to start from a recitation of verses from Holy Quran, and we ask that to do our president of Islamic Center in Lisbon, Sheikh Munir. Can we proceed? Sorry, we should proceed because the time is going and we cannot wait too much. If Sheikh Munir's microphone is not working, I will ask our brother Naim from Greece to recite few ayats from Quran. Brother Naim from Athens, please read for us a little bit from Quran. You can unmute yourself. And Naim, unmute yourself. Yes, now.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much. Now, please, Sister Lauren Booth, you proceed.
Barakallah feek. Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am happy to see all of you here today, gathered as we are behind the Palestinian people with our cause at the European Muslim Forum. Our aim today is to hear from esteemed speakers with estimable views, important views on the topics to be covered to do with the European response. But let's begin with where we are right now, inshallah ta'ala. We've seen in the last 7 days the weaponizing of grief. We have seen in the Western media a willingness to report lies straight from falsehoods within Israel. We have heard about beheaded babies, Israeli babies, which was a lie. We've heard about Hamas fighters transporting dead women to be tortured when they are already deceased. Another lie. The woman named is actually, or was recently, alive and in hospital in Gaza. This is known as atrocity propaganda. Atrocity propaganda is when lies and exaggerations are told in order to work up the momentum for real atrocities to be carried out in answer to the fake atrocities. We also see in the last 48 hours journalists being targeted and an impending humanitarian disaster, which could constitute a genocide. That's on the immediate horizon. So our question here today is, what is the European political response? Well, we've seen Israel's flag is displayed at the Balamont building, the headquarters of the European Commission. It's been on 10 Downing Street, and there have been threats to withdraw aid to Palestine from the European Union since retracted. But it's not one voice that Europe is speaking with, not entirely. EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell, in an interview just today with the Spanish daily El País, compared Gaza to Ukraine and said some of Israel's military response violates international law. He said, we've said it in Ukraine and we say it in Gaza. You cannot cut off water and all utilities to an entire population. What of the European public's response? There have been hundreds of thousands of people on the streets of capital cities showing their disgust at the response of the Israeli military machine and standing with Palestinians. But again, here too we find a schism and a danger. Pro-Palestine demonstrations in Europe have encountered restrictions and bans, raising concerns about the freedom of expression and assembly. What is our response to this? I'll be putting this to all of our speakers today. In contrast, there have been no restrictions on pro-Israel demonstrations, and government officials are actively participating in rallies, clearly expressing their support for one side over the other. So here is an overview of the situation in different countries. The UK has a flag-waving controversy right now. Home Secretary Suella Braverman caused a stir by suggesting that waving the Palestinian flag or chanting freedom for Arabs specific to Palestine may not be legal. Subhanallah. Braverman has stressed the importance of considering the context in which symbols are used during anti-Israel demonstrations. And what about France? a ban on demonstrations. People have been hosed off the streets. The Paris Police Department has already banned 2 upcoming pro-Palestine demonstrations. And then we look at Germany. Berlin has had a rally halted. So solidarity, even expressing our solidarity, could prove problematic unless, and I say this with all my heart, unless the Ummah unites in Europe, and that's what we're here for today. And at the heart of this is a march to nowhere for the Palestinian civilians in Gaza. My friend Roseanne in the city centre has just told me that they've received more leaflets telling them to go. And she said, where do I go? Where does my family go? The Israelis today bombed a convoy of refugees. They're afraid to stay and afraid to go. But when I say afraid, they are very, very steadfast. These people, after all, were chosen by Allah Ta'ala for their steadfastness. Allahu Akbar. So let all of our speakers now join together and legitimize, or rather search, a good response. One that is going to take us forward and really, really undermine and stop the collective punishment of Gazan civilians and the human devastation that that leads to. I will now hand over to our first speaker, who I'm not sure who that is, I'm afraid. Let me just find out for you. And that is going to be Sheikh Qadri, Sheikh Umar. Barakallah feek. Thank you so much. I'll hand over to you now.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. جزاكم الله خير, dear Sister Lauren, for giving us a summary and an insight to exactly what is happening. Jazakum Allah khair to European Muslim Forum, the President, for organizing this urgent meeting. Just very shortly, I come from a country that is Ireland, and Ireland happens to be the European country that is the most supportive of Ireland. The country where waving the flag of Palestine is not just legal, but it's something that our city hall does in Dublin. It's something that many proud politicians do because they can relate to the struggles of the Palestinians. Ireland itself was occupied, as everybody knows, and therefore Ireland is always and will always stand with Palestine. Now, I think a couple of things. This situation with Palestine, we all know it's been 100 years. And we have, after every 5 or 6 years, we have a time where violence and where the brothers and sisters are going through hardship again and again. And each time the hardship becomes more severe compared to the previous, hardship or previous time when the hardship
recording in progress
very prevalent. And I think that, of course, we as Muslims need to go out, need to participate in protests, need to let everybody know about our voice, need to work with other partners, that also stand for human rights, stand for justice and equality. But at the same time, I think we need a more strategic response. We need to engage with our local politicians, local TDs. I mean, Europe says that it's very proud of its Human Rights Foundation, but the reality is the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, the past 4 or 5 days has been completely disgraceful. She has showed unconditional support to Israel, and she has given it a green pass for creating this devastation and for this ethnic cleansing that is taking place right now. And it has happened by the European Commission President. And as a European, proud European, I'm actually very, very disappointed in her. And I think as the European Muslim Forum, you must write, because it just appears that Ireland, France, and Spain, some countries have actually objected already on this. And they have said that she went without any mandate to Israel. So this is something serious. And I think this is the kind of debate and discussion we can actually start. And we could help, because there are politicians within Europe that stand with Palestine, that would stand with justice, with human rights. And we need to identify them. We need to work with them together and inshallah, and that's my kind of message. In Ireland, we obviously work very closely with the politicians, and in fact, I have written a letter yesterday to the Taoiseach, the Prime Minister, to the President, asking for urgent action, urgent intervention right now, because international law is being violated and there is collective punishment taking place. So I think we need to put some pressure on our politicians, on our leaders, and the European Muslim Forum is a great platform. And I think on behalf of it, if letters can be written to different member states, different political leaders, European leaders, then this might be helpful to put pressure. So they are so much pressurized, and then they start talking about, that no, look, whatever happened in Israel, irrespective of that, there is no justification for what Israel is doing right now to Palestinians. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Barakallah Feek. That is our first suggestion then, and it's wonderful if each of you does have an idea. I will be taking a note of them and we will review them at the end. Barakallah Feek, Doctor. Really, really useful words. May Allah bless you. I've written that down and we will be put it for consideration, inshallah. Our next speaker is Sister Anna Stabu. Pardon me. She is the board director of marketing and PR at the Muslim Association of Greece. She's chairman of the Muslim Women's Council in Greece, and we look forward to her words. Barakallah Feek. I hand you over now. Bismillah.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all. First of all, I'm in the Women Council of EMF, not in Greece. So I'm very, very proud, and I thank very much President Niyazov for calling this meeting. It's more than urgent. We need at least to show our solidarity, at least to express. I don't know what to express about Palestine. Our lives are molded with Palestinian people all these years. It's not a crisis that had happened yesterday. But unfortunately, as we see now, all the solidarity movements are being very, very much challenged right now. I just was reading also in Harvard and Yale universities, they have serious problem because they're protesting. Protesting is criminalized anymore. And it seems that in Europe, as very well Dr. Omar said, it is prohibited. Even in Germany, the demonstrations and the flags are not allowed. So what we're dealing here is not only the massacre, is not only the everyday oppression, it's not only the Al-Aqsa desecration, that who Muslim can realize that they are stepping with their shoes, the ministers of a government inside Al-Aqsa, and nobody is moving. But when the narrative is something that is not suitable, all the planet, like they have like coordinated media, and they have only one saying, like it is a war against an organization, against the state. This is not true. The Palestinian people are suffering for years and unjustly. They have been unrooted, imprisoned, and we should be with them. Even if the mainstream media like it or not, we have to stand still and work to comfort them also, not to put flames in this how can I say it, this situation that probably will mean a very bad development for Gaza itself. But also the West Bank is very much oppressed. Nobody believed that they would be so much oppressed these years. So my suggestion would be to speak our minds, to support Palestine openly. And I agree with pushing the governments, pushing the politicians, because now, even now in Greece, a very pro-Palestinian country, it's so pro-Israeli that nobody could realize it. Even the people who are demonstrating daily, they cannot realize that the governmental voice, even the minister yesterday threatened the mayors, those who will, the mayors of Greek cities, they threatened that he will cut the funding if they're supporting Palestine, if they have Palestinian flags. In which country? In Greece, where Yasser Arafat with Papandreou had a very serious friendship and brotherhood, not only friendship. We're a country that is so affiliated to Palestine. So these signs show that those people are dying and the world doesn't care and turn their backs. It's not true. We have to stand still. We must not be afraid. We must be cautious, but not in fear, because those Palestinians that losing brothers and sisters under the rumbles, under the bombardings, they have no fear. They have endurance and they have a soul, and they are very determined that they will survive and they will win eventually. So who we are on our comfort from our rooms, to not to say that we are in solidarity with them. At least we have to express a solidarity, and then we can make steps. The political steps are significant. This is up to our capacities without creating damage to them, because also it is very important to keep the balance. So I'm very eager to hear all of you, because I'm very, very upset, and I know that nothing can comfort my concern about the Palestinian people right now and what will be the development. So thank you very much, and thank you, Sister Lauren, for this moderation, and Jazakallah khairan to all.
Thank you very much, Barakallah Feek. Sister Anna, wise words indeed. We must be brave and cautious. I think that is a very interesting turn of phrase right there, and disturbing to hear that Greece, you know, the legendary Greece, the people who were so behind the Palestinian cause, even now making threats against mayors in order to stop protests. So we're seeing a theme come through here. We'll take that up, Anna. Thank you very much, Barakallah Feek. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce Sheikh Romas Jakubauskas. He is the chairman of our executive committee and Mufti of the Sunni Muslim Religious Center of Lithuania, chairman of the Sharia Committee of the World Halal Trust. Barakallah Feek, over to you, Sheikh Romas.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, I completely support my colleagues who gathered today because of this cause, and of course we need to be very cautious, and but as Sister said, very brave, because we all know the sufferings that Palestinians endure for many years. We all have Palestinian brothers and sisters, colleagues that had to leave, their homeland, and this is not a new problem. The problem started many years ago and still ongoing, and that is heartbreaking. And we should not remember them only when something bad happens, because those bad things happen actually every day there. At this situation, which is very sensitive, and we see the development of violence going like every hour, it's adding to it, and we see atrocities there. And yes, we are against any violence, and now we have to push in any way possible the political side, the peoples, to make them understand the situation, and to try to stop this violence, and later on proceed for finding ways to embitterment of the situation and the lives of Palestinians who live in such terrible conditions every day. So this message should not only at this tragical moment should be a main point of our discussions, but it should be always. And what Dr. Omar proposed, to push our local politicians, so they press the European Union government to look at it. Not the message should not be one-sided. We've seen that it's completely one-sided, and but the victims on both sides. So and what the Palestinians now receive, it's much worse than atrocities that were before. We can see that it's escalating. So this is our message should be like completely one word, one strong stance for supporting our Palestinian brothers and sisters, and trying in any way possible to persuade the political side of European countries. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I hope to hear many more suggestions from our brothers and sisters from all over Europe. Thank you very much.
Barakallah feek. Thank you so much, Sheikh. Good to hear your words of wisdom. The first priority you said was to stop the violence. Clearly, this is something that is going to take multiple nations to put pressure upon Israel to stop and desist at once. And the steps after that to help change their reality and daily living reality. And you agreed to push. We must push the EU to not pursue a one-sided message. Thank you for that, Barakallah feek. We now go to Sister Leah. She is the president of the Baltic Muslim Women's Union. Pardon me. Thank you very much, Sister Leah. Barakallah feek.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. أما بعد, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear brothers and sisters, this is a great opportunity to speak and to raise our voices. So we thank AMF for this opportunity and for this initiative, because now it's a big challenge to raise our voices, to say a right word, to be fair. Especially we as a European Muslim, we now find a big pressure because of our countries, because of our politicals. We see what happened now. They follow in one side, and they follow in just a picture of and supporting just one side, and everywhere is raising only one flag, Israel flag. So this is we found very, very unfair, and this is a good platform to raise our voices. So we have to be, as my colleagues before said, not one side. We have to stop killing, stop this genocide, what is happening now in Gaza, and to stop this violence. And of course, after that, we can talk, and we can find any peace solution, because we have to be fair, we have to be just, we have to raise justice. And this is not just an Al-Aqsa issue. And of course, Al-Aqsa is always in our heart. It's a big point of our Aqidah, of our faith. But now the people are dying every day, and this is more, as Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, that the life of one person and life of one Muslim is more sensitive, as the meaning of hadith. Now exactly, I'm telling now hadith more sensitive, and then Kaaba, subhanallah. Kaaba, we can imagine the Kaaba, what is the first symbol and the main symbol of our religion, but still the lives is more important in our religion. So we have to stop killing, we have to stop this genocide. And I agree with our colleagues, we have to raise our voices. Even we are feeling now this feeling. I think most of us are feeling like this, but we are Muslims. We seeing every day that is only one side, political takes one side, and it's really, really sad. We're really sad of this situation, and maybe inshallah this platform can give us the opportunity to raise voices, to reach those diplomatics, and to make something to stop this violence. Of course, the violence also take place in Israel's side, but now what has happened in Gaza, it's not acceptable at all. So thank you for this opportunity. opportunity to speak. And thank you, Mr. President Abdul Vakhed Niyazov, for this opportunity. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we have any solution, good solution, and we inshallah reach a peace, inshallah, in this region. Thank you very much, Sister Lauren, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Barakallah feek, my dear sister Leah. You know what came through in your words is your pain, and I think we're all dealing with not our pain. We're dealing with seeing other people's pain, people who we love, people who have been let down by the international community for 75 years. And this mass murder that's going on now, it's a very, very painful thing. And I really felt that in your words, Barakallah feek. You said that European Muslims are now under pressure too. I think this could be also a very important point for us to pursue. So please let us put together some thoughts and words after this on representing European Muslims who want to speak politically. It's a bit like after 9/11. Maybe someone wants to raise that. You called to stop the violence and for fairness and justice. Again, calling out the hypocrisy of the European Union. Very important. Where are your values? I'll make a suggestion at the end. People are precious in our religion, and to raise our voices. Barakallah feek. And now I'd like to welcome Brother Muhammad Ali Harath, founder of the Islam Channel, to give his thoughts and reflections and ideas going forward. Barakallah feek.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having us together today. A big thank you goes to our dear friend Abdul Vakhed for again organizing such a nice gathering for us all. And I wish, by the way, that Salam World was alive today, and that project is with us, and we can see now the value of social media. But I think that vision came too early for Muslims to understand what was coming in. However, anyway, just what I want, I don't want to repeat what the brothers and sisters said earlier. I want to mention a couple of things. One, this is a war, and this is an all-out war. It's not just any war. It is being not just fought on the grounds. It's not just boots and tanks on the grounds. It is fought also on the airwaves, newspapers, on online, everywhere. So we have to be there. There is a guideline. If you watch the interviews on main TV channels, the articles, the opinions, the headlines on newspapers, there is one theme that everyone follows. And that one theme is concentrate on the crimes of Hamas, concentrate on the hostages, don't talk about the two-state solution, don't talk about the Arab-Israeli conflict, don't talk about the Palestinian cause, Palestinian state, don't talk about any of that. Couple of things, just atrocities committed by Hamas, and lie, and what? And lie. So it becomes a reality. Keep going, keep lying. And that's what is happening right now. 40 babies beheaded. I was watching the White House, the President Biden. And when we say President Biden, not because he's a president, because he's a privy and have the privilege to see reports by his own sources, i.e. the CIA, the FBI, the embassies, all of that. So that's why when it comes from the President of the United States, is we have to pay attention to it, or even the President of Russia, or any president of a great or a big state. So, but for the President to come out and said, watched and verified that 40 babies were beheaded. The White House later on, they said that's not true. It's not true. What I realized when we went back and looked at it, it all emanated from a settler activist in Israel, who through an interview with a journalist from the Independent. They put it first on the Independent, and then because the Independent is a more of a mainstream newspaper, it spread all over the Western media. And talking of which, the Independent was offered to me back on the days for £1 to buy. And at the time, it was losing 10 million pounds a year, which is very manageable. At the same time, the same week, one Arab state bought a player from Italy to play in France for a team they just bought for 120 million. I told them that will keep me going for 12 years. That's even if I don't make any adjustments or improve the newspaper. And I'm more solution guided person. I want to look for solutions. I think that platform Salam World at the time, back in 2012 or 2011, that was a great idea. Maybe it's too late, I don't know. But what we should be thinking at, forget about, listen, they are not interested in the truth. They know the truth better than me and you. They have access. They know. We can only now say, hundreds of Palestinians dead. They know exactly the numbers. They know exactly where they died. They know it, but they are not interested. So what they are interested in, they have a plan. What is the plan? Is to evacuate Gaza, kick out all the Palestinians from Gaza. Where? To Egypt. Then flatten out Gaza, then annex it to Israel, and the Palestinian cause is finished, and finished forever. Then the Egyptian authorities will take care of the Palestinians who went there. What I mean by take care, make sure that they don't harm Israel. This is the plan. So what we are going to see in the near future, if this plan succeeds, and I'm hoping that it fails, and alhamdulillah, there are signs that it fails. Saudi Arabia yesterday announced they stopped all negotiation for normalizing ties with Israel, and they refused to allow the Palestinians to leave their land. So is Qatar, Kuwait, so many countries in the region. The Egyptian army now is building a big wall between Gaza and Egypt to make sure nobody goes to Egypt. So the plan is to get people all out. So 1948 is being played now. What we want to do now, we have to make sure we help with whatever we can to make sure that people stay there. Yes, there would be killings. Yes, there will be death. But unfortunately, that's a price to pay. It is so unfortunate. But for them to lose their homeland forever, for generations, that should not be allowed. The second thing, and I'm finishing here, we have to know that in the West, what I hear now, I've been living in this country for nearly 35 years. I can't hear you. I've been living for, I can't hear you. Okay, I've been living here. What I hear from the Home Secretary of the United Kingdom is what we used to hear from the BNP, the British National Party, the extreme right. What the extreme right used to say now is being said by mainstream politicians, by mainstream ministers. So it's not just any fringe. What we have to do, we have to make sure that that does not happen. We have to lobby our MPs. We have to push Muslims to get more involved in politics. And mainly, we have to control the narrative in the media. To control the narrative on the media, one of the ways is to make sure we own the media. This is something we have to think about it. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And thanks so much, Abdul Vakhed, again, for such a wonderful meeting. You are getting us together from all over the world. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much, Brother Mohammed Ali Harath. Excellent summary. And let's just summarize your thoughts there, founder of Islam Channel, clearly, and great, by the way, great coverage right now. The Islam Channel on Instagram is really smashing it, so appreciate you. This is a war, and an all-out war fought in all arenas. His main theme was the mainstream theme rather of the mainstream media is concentrate on hostages and Hamas. Don't talk about solutions. Don't mention the Palestinian cause, just atrocity and lies. And I want to add here, what's very disturbing is the Israeli army are not giving an agenda. They're going, we want to finish Hamas. And when they're asked, how are you going to do that? Doesn't matter. We're just going to do it. How are you what's your exit strategy from a war? Because anybody going into a war has a strategy. Well, of course, they can't say it because, as you said, Brother Muhammad Ali. Their strategy is to ethnically cleanse, horrible term, to enforce and disperse the Palestinians out of their own new stadiums and buying football players. Very, very strange, limited, way of thinking, right? I am interested in Salam World perhaps needs revisiting. I didn't know that Egypt is now building a huge wall, and but I did know, and we should know, that 1948 is being played out in front of our eyes. So this is another message. Here's the message: support their right to stay. So in anything we do, what Brother Muhammad Ali is putting forward is a message is the right to stay. Not this humanitarian corridor, this way out, this nicey, let's just shunt you into the desert. Do you want to add something else? No, okay. Lobby our MPs to get more involved in politics. Yes, yeah, go ahead.
Just before, because I'm going to join the demonstrations, because I've never missed demonstration for Palestine. What I want to say, if they are talking about humanitarian corridors, let's push the point, open the humanitarian corridors towards Israel. Let them inside Israel. Let them go inside Israel, not Egypt. They want one way to Egypt, full stop. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Okay, let's move on. Dr. Dogan, talking of protests, Dogan. He is the vice president of the Renewed Refah Party, member of the Grand National Assembly of Turkiye. He's in Ankara at the moment, I believe, and he is himself at a protest. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Dogan. He's just connected, so it may take a moment or two. Bear with us. Please put your ideas in the chats, put ways forward in the chats. We will be collating these at the end.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Doctor, please tell us your message on the issue at hand.
Okay, now we are at the province of Konya, and we have a big rally here for the freedom of Palestine, and the former Minister of Education also participated to our rally, and he left Palestine 2 days before the aggression of Israel, and his son and his children are died during the aggression of Israel forces. And now he also had a speech, and Mr. Khalid Mashal also linked it to our rally, and his support told us many things about the recent situation in Gaza and the other parts of Palestine. And he said that we are in need of all the Muslims throughout the world, because they are at a very, very big, difficult situation there. There is no electricity, no water, no food. For that reason, all the support of the Muslim communities are very important in order the Israeli forces to stop their aggression and oppression towards the Palestinians there. And now our chairman, Dr. Fatih Erbakan, is speaking to the crowd.
Thank you for that update from there. What about the Turkish response? Generally, how do you feel about it?
Many participants from different political parties also came to this rally, and from many other cities also many crowded people came to participate and to support the Palestinian people here. And this is very, very good sign here, and there is a good message to the Palestinians who are under the aggression of the Israel forces. And Al Jazeera also gave a link from here about the rally.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. Is there anything else you'd like to add going forward? Solutions? How can we help as this organization?
Of course, the Muslims should be shoulder to shoulder in order to support our Muslim brothers thereof, and they are very in need of our support. For that reason, in order this aggression to be ended, they need our moral support. Thank you very much. I'm sorry there is crowded and very noisy here. For that reason, I cannot hear well. Inshallah, in the future, we can discuss this situation in a better way.
Barakallah Feek. Thanks for joining us anyway. We appreciate you. Lots and lots of du'as. Okay, so Dr. Dogan, he raised the need to be shoulder to shoulder and be in unity. Perhaps you can mute yourself now, Doctor. We're going to move on to our next speaker. Thank you so much. Barakallah Feek.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Stay blessed. Wa alaikum salam. Our next speaker is Fi Amanallah. Nafala Ashirov, Chairman of the Spiritual Administration of Muslims of Asia, Russia and Moscow. Pleasure to have you. If we can all include some solutions and some actions in our statements, this would be most useful. Barakallah Feek. Assalamu alaikum. So while we wait for our other speaker, I'm pleased to welcome Zina Badir, founder of the Malta Muslim Relations in Valletta, Malta. Zina, the floor is yours for your comments and suggestions. Barakallah Feek. Apologies, bear with us. We're trying to connect to some of the speakers. Thank you so much for your patience. And do keep talking in the chat with any reflections that you may have going forward. For example, I've just seen that in London right now, it looks like almost, to my knowledgeable eye, of large demonstrations. Gosh, I think it looks like 500,000 people, maybe 200,000 people in central London right now. Subhanallah, I haven't seen a crowd like that for many years. Must be 100,000, and coming out for Palestine when they're told not to, when they're told the flag may be illegal. Is this a change? How can we support this? How can we give confidence to one another? How can we be brave when others are being so much braver? So this is a good sign, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Mohammed Dalil, are you present, and will you be able to give us your thoughts, inshallah?
Is my voice is clear?
Yes, your voice is clear. I haven't introduced you well, so could you please introduce yourself, although yes. I know you're known to everyone, and we look forward to hearing your thoughts. Barakallah Feek. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lauren, for your moderation, and thank you for all other previous speakers. My name is Mohammed Dalil. I'm joining with you from Istanbul, Turkey, on behalf of Gaza District Organization, one organization actually to work in support the humanitarian relief for Gaza people and all the needy worlds, or the needy areas around the world. Actually, I will not take much of your time. I want to just specify my speak about Gaza, as we are working tirelessly near Gaza, and all the information that we got about Gaza Strip. First of all, I really would like to thank all the previous speakers for these valuable insights. It's really an honor to be part of this event organized by the European Muslim Forum, and I really hope this to keep continuing, to not end at this moment alone. I work with an NGO focusing on marketing and support all the humanitarian relief in all the needy areas around the world. So I need actually to talk about Gaza. Gaza today, and while we are speaking now, it's really in a serious humanitarian crisis. There is no electricity, there is no water, there is no life. Every moment passing, every minute passing, the life is getting worse. The ongoing events has resulted in destruction of homes, the forced movement of many people, and loss of lives. Unfortunately, Gaza actually, I can say, like, it's a disaster zone, witnessing acts that can only be described as genocide, maybe I say, And all this happenings before the eyes and ears of all the world, and everyone is watching. And even one of the brothers that mentioned about the social media, he is so true. Really, actually, as we are NGO workers, that we are working nearby the people, this is really effective in all the life. Gaza has faced a 17 years long electricity crisis, and due to the recent attacks that we are facing now, the power supply has been completely served. The healthcare system is in dire need of a lifeline and grapples with 45% shortage of medicine and medical supplies. The ongoing violence has placed additional strain on the already struggling healthcare sector. Sorry, my voice is clear, right?
Your voice is fine. Please
Yes,
keep going.
okay, the ongoing violence, actually, as I mentioned, is strain on the already struggling health sector for the expected of the power cuts and food shortage. Actually, and just before I joining you, just a moments ago, I heard the troubling news that the Israeli militaries want to empty important hospitals in Gaza, like Al-Auda, Kamal Adwan, Al-Adura Children's Hospital. I just got this news a moments ago, and actually, to be honest, this is really a big humanitarian worry that doesn't lean on a politics. Everything is this hospitals, and when they want to evacuate all the patients, this hospital put all the lives in risks and hurt all the healthcare. This is not, as they mentioned, like this is not a military, and we are just give attention for the people for the pumping. They asked, like in clear on all the world at sea, they want to evacuate all the hospitals, and this actually our job to take this seriously and stand up honesty for these people and keep these hospitals open. This is one of the humanitarian thing. It's 100% the humanitarian thing. It's not lean on anything. It's not lean on any side. Anyway, I just got this news and want to share with you. Moreover, actually, Gaza water supply has been compressed with 97% of the water unfit. It's really, it's correct. What you're hearing is 97% of the water that unfit for consumption due to the ongoing blockade. And also, after these recent attacks that we hear on the news, we resulted in the shutdown of all the water pumping stations in the region, further the risk of severe water crisis and widespread thirst. And you are watching, all of you are watching this now. In addition to that, I want to mention a little bit about the border crossings, with the exception of some cruises at the normal life, as you see, some cruises for travelers and trade. But after also the recent aggression that we all see, has led to close off all the crossings, even the Egypt side and the Rafah side, as you see, and all the crossing. Now it's Gaza, as you see, as I mentioned, it's like destruction zone that's closed, that no one people know everything about it. Yesterday, just give some attention that we will cut all the internet connections about this area. And you see they got support from everywhere in the world, all the American presidents and everything. I wanted to get too much in the politics, but it's really hurting me. Even all the NGO workers who work, and we got all the news by nearly, it's really so bad things. Just before I close and end this speech, I really need to remind you that people in Gaza are suffering greatly, suffering every day and every moment. The situation is really disastrous. It's really important for us and all the people you mentioned. This is your job from wherever you are. Just tell your brother, tell your friend, tell your son, tell all the people, even on social media, you support the people. You support them by sending help. You support them by sending hashtags. You support them, everything in every type, every way that you see. We can't just simply talk about sending help and aid. We need to really take meaningful action. Let's really unite our voices, unite our actions, unite our hearts for this. This is it's not only you, as you all know, we have 2004, 2006, and 2014 on, if I'm not make mistake, we get 3 or 4 wars in Gaza. It's like our global responsibility to act swiftly and effectively for this, and we really need to provide a real help and push for a just and lasting. Not just we get it in like the earthquake, we hear small something on the news, and we come to 1-2 weeks and everything is going like fine. No, but we need just and lasting solution for Palestine. Thank you for your time and for your attention, and thank you for all.
Thank you so much. That was a really fitting and disturbing, tragic summary of the humanitarian situation right now. And I think we all needed to see that and to hear that and to really refocus, because sometimes the politics gets in a way of the need, right? So we are here, inshallah, as a political force, but we're also here to make sure that people are taken care of in a realistic way. So Mohammed Dalil said Gaza today is in crisis. Every minute life is getting worse. We cannot imagine what that feels like. You're watching the things in your fridge go rotten. You have bombs and you have tanks coming towards you, and you know you're out of water. I have a very good friend called Yasser. His family are in Gaza City. They're not moving because his mum is sick, and also they don't want to give up their house. So we go back to that message of don't move, your right to stay. I think a lot of the media does not take the Palestinians seriously as the owners of the land, as the people of the right to stick, to stay. So they don't want to move, they're running out of water, and the water that is there is 97% undrinkable. So Brother Mohammed, he said forced movement of people and massive loss of life is a disaster zone. This is very disturbing. For the human being, this is very disturbing. We have, many of us, seen disaster zones. We saw it earlier this year in the south of Turkey and the north of Syria. Subhanallah. And Allah moves and shakes the land beneath the feet of the human beings and the feet of all living things. And disaster follows. But what about when that disaster is man-made? We cannot, nor do we wish to change Allah's qadr. Allah, do with us as you will. Allah, forgive us and look after us, but do with us as you will. We are yours. But when human beings do this, how is it possible to leave it? This is genocide in real time, said Brother Muhammad. The healthcare system is collapsing. And I don't know what's happened in the last hour, but Al-Awad, the hospital, one of the 4 main hospitals in Gaza, was told many hours ago, we will be bombing you shortly, get out. How is this possible? We have to be lobbying the governments to stop this, not just calling it out, not just using language, stop this now. And also, I think, shaming anybody who stands for this. I think that's something really important. And we should be discussing this. If you've stood for this, we are calling you out. That's something powerful that we need to be doing. So stand up earnestly for humanitarian work. Gaza water is compromised, and the water pumps in the region are setting the stage for a water crisis. Thank you so much, Brother Mohammed. I'm pleased now that Zina Badir, founder of the Malta Muslim Relations, brother, you can join us now if you're ready, inshallah, with your comments and your thoughts. Barakallah feek.
Assalamu alaikum, brother and sister. How are you? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all for your effort and your continuous contribution to our cause, the cause of Palestine, the cause of all Muslims. As you can see, we are in one of the main localities in Malta, making a small protest, sending the message to the society that the consequences of the war in Palestine and in Gaza especially have got out of issues and consequences, and we try as much as we can to deliver this message and to inform people as much as we can. Today, there is Muslims, there is Christian, there is even Jew people who have joined us to address this issue and to send a clear message to the politicians that, listen, your stand should be with the rightness. Your stand should be with the right of people of Palestine who have their own country, their own dignity. And the most important message that needs to be delivered is to stop the war, to stop the ethnic cleansing, to stop the genocide that is going on right now in the land that is smaller than Malta as well. The people have contributed, even some politicians have sent a very good statement lately. In the beginning, the statement was all, unfortunately, not in the favor of our cause, but eventually what happened is that they have sent a very good statement lately. 2 ministers and even ex-ministers have shown their not only solidarity, but even they address the issue that need to be taken in consideration, the current situation and the consequences what going on in Palestine, in Gaza.
Can I just clarify something? You said that ministers and ex-ministers have shown support. Are you talking about in Malta? And support for who?
Yes, I'm right now talking in Malta. Right now in Malta, they have shown, I mean, in the beginning it was, because as all the other European ministers, they have took a stand, which is mainly because against what Hamas have done or whatever. But eventually when they find even some raised up by people from communities and people from Malta that listen, what's happened there is because or the consequences of the 75 years of occupation, 75 years of humiliation, 75 years of injustice, and they sort of like changed their tone of speech. The Minister of Culture and the Minister of Culture and Traditions in Malta have stated a very good statement in the parliament yesterday before, which giving that to need to solve this issue, to address this issue by giving the rights for the Palestinians to have a decent life. And this was changed from the first days when the attacks was happened by Hamas.
That's very interesting. How can we amplify the voices in Malta? What do you suggest?
Can you repeat your question, please, again? I didn't hear it.
How can we amplify the voices in Malta and help them?
Actually, today my address was to the community and even to the Maltese people who have joined us to do the most important thing, that to as much to address the media or to post in media in different ways. In whether it's pardon?
Next.
I didn't get you. Hello. Are you hearing me?
Sorry, yes, I'm hearing you. Carry on.
So basically, to make more awareness, not only in Malta, I believe it's even in all the world, especially with the young generations, as you can see their comments that why they are fighting, why this happened, what the cause of it. So people need to be more informed about the story, about the situation, what has happened, why it's happening. And you can see the people here that are making a lot of takbir and asking for the support. And I mean, addressing the issue of media is very important for the sake that the new generation will have the continuity of our mission, our stand with our brother and sister in Palestine.
We appreciate your time. Have you got anything else that you'd like to add? And then we will be wrapping up from you. Barakallah feek.
Well, I believe sending a statement, whether in every country or even to European mission in our countries, to be to address the issue of bias or the issue of that some politicians like the Roberta Mazzola and even Ursula, that listen, your stand is not correct. Your stand is not in the favor of the cause to calm down, and the situation goes to a better solutions. This needs to be addressed. The second thing, as much as we can, we make awareness among the young generation. I always prefer to address the young people because they are the continuity. We might have the story, we might know the story, we might even aware of the situation, but the young generation with a lot of mix up in the social media and other way of information, they are misled. So our duty is to give them the flag to continue our mission.
Thanks very much for your time. Carry on with your protest, and we'll give a wrap up of your ideas. Thank you so much. We'll speak to you soon, brother.
Thank you for your call, and send my regards to all the brothers and sisters all over European Muslim Forum.
Barakallah feek. Thank you so much. I'm going to summarize there what Brother Zina Badir said, founder of the Malta Muslim Relations in Valletta. He said, and this is very interesting. Thank you. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Brother said, Malta, Gaza is smaller than Malta. 6,000 bombs dropped in 6 days on something that is smaller than Malta. We need to equip ourselves with this kind of information. Very interesting to know. He's the first of our speakers who said that ministers and ex-ministers in his locale have shown support for Palestine. So congratulating them, opening a working way forward with the relevant ministers. Let us do this as well. We cannot just critique, we must be forming alliances. Apparently the Minister of Culture made a very good statement. Let us do some research into that. Let us find out who is that. Let us call them and congratulate them and join with them, inshallah. We need not only to critique, but amplify positive messages. We need to share awareness and be better informed ourselves. It gives me a great pleasure now to welcome Sami Al-Arayan, personal friend, and I would say really an activist mentor of mine for many, many years. He is the director of the Center for Islam and Global Affairs, CIGA, and public affairs professor at Istanbul Zaim University. And he joins us with a special reference, Dr. Sami, a special reference to fake news and looking at how to really mute that noise. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lauren, for inviting me. And thank you for your activism also on behalf of the Palestinians and for speaking out at these very difficult times. People think that the Palestinian issue just started last Saturday. The Palestinian issue has been going on now for decades. The occupation for some have been taking place in 1948, for others since 1967. Either way, the Palestinians have been inflicted with the most grievous pain and suffering for decades because of this ideology called Zionism, which is an exclusivist, racist, settler colonial movement with a supremacist ideology that is trying to uproot the Palestinians from their homeland and replace them with Jewish communities from around the world. This is what we are faced with, and today the Palestinians are facing another Nakba, another catastrophe, another attempt to uproot them from their homeland. Now we are talking about the 5th and 6th generations of Palestinians who've been living under very difficult circumstances in refugee camps, particularly in the Gaza Strip, where they were uprooted first in 1948, and they have gone through horrific times. People think that somehow because the colonized is trying to resist his colonizer, that the colonizer has the right to kill and to maim and to uproot and to just indiscriminately kill their families, kill their children, kill their future, destroy their homes, destroy their fields, move them around with total impunity. And when we look at what happened in this past week, I mean, it shows the hypocrisy of the world, particularly the United States. The United States is given carte blanche, is buying parts, wholesale the Israeli lies and deceptions about what's going on. We have to understand what happened just in the recent past, for the past year, since the empowerment and the establishment of the current government. They have been almost daily attacks and desecration of Al-Aqsa Mosque, one of the holiest mosques in the Muslim world. 2 billion Muslims every day, they pray for the liberation of that mosque. And what they have been trying to do is to claim it and possess it and desecrate it, and without any regard to any kind of rights or international law. This has been going on, particularly in the past 3 weeks, on a daily basis. So what happened in the past week is trying to deter these kind of attitudes. The West Bank, since the beginning of the year, over 250 Palestinians, and just in the past week, we lost another 60 plus Palestinians. They were killed point blank by settlers, by soldiers, without any regard to their lives, including over 40 children. This is what we are being faced with, and the whole world just as if, acts like nothing is happening. We talk about 16 years of suffocating blockade on Gaza. Not a single country, not a single government, not a single leader is trying even to plead. Why is this not war crime? Why is this not a genocide and crimes against humanity when 2.3 million people are basically in an on an open air prison, and no one seems to care, because one country can dictate to the whole region and the whole world how they should deal with this issue. This started 16 years ago, not 16 hours ago, not 16 days ago, not 16 months ago, but 16 years. In a place where it is about 360 square kilometers with over 1 million children living in it. And yet no one seems to care. We have 5,500 prisoners in Israeli prisons under harsh conditions, inhumane conditions, where they are not allowed to see their families, talk to their families, and with over 1,260 of them under what is called administrative detention. They've never been charged with a single crime, yet they don't have their freedoms day after day, month after month, year after year, because a criminal state, because a racist state, a supremacist settler colonial state decides to do so. Whatever they want, they get away with it. And the Americans are partners in crime in this. Our people are being killed today with American planes, American rockets, American bombs, American bullets, American tanks, American weapons everywhere. We have phosphorus bombs. People are being killed without knowing why, or without having any indication whatsoever whether this hell is going to end anytime soon. And yet we have this American president, these American officials lying about what happened there. They're talking about babies being beheaded, a lie. They're talking about women being raped, a lie. They're talking about Palestinians killing them because they are Jews, a lie after a lie after a lie after a lie, without any regard to what the truth is. We have Western media complicity into this. This is an onslaught by colonial powers, by their tools, by their media outlet, by their politicians. Everywhere they want to just punish the Palestinians because they dared to resist their colonizer. This is their sacred cow, because the Palestinians dared to speak out, to stand up, to resist and fight back. Now they have to be punished. Palestinians should be proud for their resistance. The others should be shamed for trying to punish them for that. And what is really heartbreaking is not just that we lost hundreds and thousands of Palestinians to this cruelty, to this brutality, to this heartless people and countries and leaders, but also when you look at the Muslim world, even though millions of people have risen up, it's still totally inadequate to what the response should be. These Muslim leaders have not stepped up to the occasion. I mean, how could they let the Palestinians be wiped off like this? This is beyond the pale. We've been waiting and to see whether the leaders of the Muslim world will say enough is enough, not just to the Israelis, because these are cruel, evil people. They will never listen to anyone, but to their patrons, to the people who have been defending them, the people who have been protecting them, the people who have been egging them, the people who have been pushing them to do this, because they don't want to see any kind of a model where a person could stand up and fight evil. And I tell people, those who are neutral in this fight, they are on the side of the oppressor. They are not, being fair in this at all. The question of what should come next, the Israelis could actually storm this, but I think it's gonna. I don't. Even though the fight is not fair, I don't think they're gonna get away with it. I believe there are people around the world that they will see the Israelis for what they are. They're not going to be deceived with their lies and deceptions. All the lies and deceptions will be exposed. People are starting now to wake up to see what this is about. And I think eventually they will be a pariah. Eventually they will be rejected. Eventually they will lose. Because at the end, it's not just the conscience of the world that needs to be awakened. It's not just because the Palestinians have been living under apartheid-like life. I remember the fights that we had in the 80s. You know, it took decades for the world to reach that stage where we had consensus that we are going to stand up all for the freedom of South Africa against apartheid. The last country that came about was the United States. So what we have today is very similar fight. And I think the Palestinians will continue to fight. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to leave their homes. If we have to die, we will die as free people. And if we have to live, we will live with our heads held high. Victory.